Level 5, Grade E, ordering fractions and decimals. Okay, let's give you a few tips to help you order decimals, fractions, and then mixture of numbers with percentages as well. So, ordering decimals, when you've got decimal numbers and a list of decimal numbers you're trying to order, the main problem here is they're all different lengths of decimals. So if I see which one's got the most decimal places, this one's got 3, and I make them all have 3 decimal places, so this one's got 2, I'm going to add an extra 0, add an extra 0, this one's only got 1 decimal place, so I add 2 zeros, and 3 zeros for that. So now we can look at them as almost like just whole numbers. So which is the smallest of these numbers? Well, if I'm just pretending that's a comma, that's 5,490, 5,800, 800, 5,900, 6,000. This one's the smallest, 5.49 is the smallest. The next one, 5.849 and 5.850, 5.849 is the next smallest, 5.85 is the next, 5.9, and then 6 is the biggest. Now the most common problem there is looking at these decimals and just going, well, that's a 9 and that's 849. That must be way bigger than that, but it's not, because these extra zeros, if we make them all line up, show us that that 9 is more important than that 8, and therefore it is bigger. Looking at these, we've got 3 decimal places in some of them, so if we even them up, so we've got 3 decimal places in all of them, we should be able to tell that this 1249 is the smallest, followed by 0.25, followed by the 0.278, followed by the 0.28, followed by the 0.3. Okay, fractions. Fractions are tricky to order. You've got to really convert them, so to be certain you've got to convert them into a common denominator. So we need a number that all these 3 denominators go into, and the smallest number all these go into is 24. So if we convert these into 24ths, 3 goes into 24 8 times, I'm timesing that by 8, times the top by 8, I get 16 over 24. 12 goes into 24 twice, so I double the top to get 14 out of 24. 8 goes into 24 3 times, so I times the top by 3 to get 15 out of 24. Once I've got it in 24ths, then it's clear which one's the smallest, which is this one, 14 24ths, which is 7 over 12, followed by this one, 15 24ths, which is 5 over 8, followed by 2/3. That's the only certain way of being able to tell which fractions are bigger, unless you've got a calculator, and then you can just divide the top by the bottom and look at the decimal if you can do decimals okay. Now, a mixture of numbers, fractions and decimals. For me, I tend to change everything into the decimals. So 30%, that's out of 100, so 30% is 0.30 or 0.3. 0.25 is done. 2/5 is 4 out of 10, so that's 0.4, or if we want the 2 digits, 0.40. So if we looking at fractions, we need to change to something that allows us to change the decimals. Best to change to tenths or hundredths, then you can write the decimal down. So the smallest one there is 0.25, followed by 30%, followed by 2/5. And it's surprising how big 2/5 actually is, and that's where most people go wrong.